Okay.
All right. Let's get set. Good morning, good morning. This is Dr. Harris. Dr. Harris, we're here with the Black Agenda Network this morning. All these revolutionaries at the table with me. I love to hang around revolutionaries. And these are the best in the West, on the West Coast, because they do the most. And we're just happy that they're here with us again. We're back with you one more time here with the Black Agenda Network. Connecting the dots, connecting. You remember back in school when our teacher used to give us that little paper and we used to connect the dots, dots, dots. And it was actually making a picture, but you would have to follow the dots, go around, go back up, back down, around, and then when you get back to where you started, you had a full picture, right? So that's what the Black Agenda Network is about, is talking about what it is, you know, keeping it real, keeping it 100. Have a few announcements we want to go through. We have a fundraiser coming up at Free AME Ministries here. Car wash, hot dog sale, chips. Come out, 806 Collins Avenue, Fresno, California, 93706. We're going to have kids fun, music, yard sale. I mean, when I say yards, I'm talking about brand new stuff with tags on them. And some food and get your car washed. So come out this Saturday, September 14th, 2024 from 9 to 2 p.m. If you want to volunteer, contact me, inbox me, and we'll make it happen. So next we have 806 Kingdom Fitness workout and worship here at Free AME Ministries here every Tuesday from 4 to 5:30. We'll be here. Also this morning from 8 to 11, we will be having our fitness center open for those who wants to come out and work out and get their grind on. We also have Minister's Voice here. Our very own Minister Wanda and her husband makes this book here. You can purchase this book. I believe it's like $5. Minister's Voices here, and each month they do different folks are in here to highlight things. We've been in here. I've been in this book as well. And so you can get this book here at Free AME Ministries. Also, we have Unpacking Single Cell, One Warrior at a Time. There's a big conference that's coming up September 18th to the 21st here. It's a 4-day event in Los Angeles. They will be meeting here. The charter bus will be here to pick everyone up. The person you need to speak to is this beautiful queen sister here, Sister Harris here. Her phone number is 559-360-5001. She is the coordinator, regional coordinator from like Bakersfield to Stockton. And again, her phone number is 559-360-5001. And I volunteer myself about the single cell. Dr. Riley, who's the founder, came all the way from Los Angeles here to speak one Sunday, and we did a blood drive right after service.
Wow.
I mean, they had hospital, like 5 or 6 hospital beds. They're doing intake and all that good stuff. And so it's a disease that we really need to know about, family. Also, Fresno City College will be having Kaya Wellness Center blood drive. Again, that's Ms. Harris, who I just told you about, has coordinated this here Wednesday, September 25th from 9 to 1 at Fresno City College here in Fresno, California. And so we want to make sure that we get the word out. And so we also here at Free AME Ministries, this is the chess king here, Brother TJ.
True.
He teaches how to play chess. And we want to make sure that he references to land usage here in America. And so if you want to learn how to play chess, come here and he'll teach you how to do it. So, and today is our food drive day. At 11 o'clock, there's people lined up around the block right now to get food. They get here at around 7:30 in the morning. We don't serve food till 11, but people want to get in line. You know, you be first, you get the best. All right, so come on out, be with us here. I'll be playing music, I DJ a little bit, we dance, have fun, we make it fun. And so moving forward with our show today, I just want to thank these wonderful folk here, revolutionaries that's here with me today. There's some things going on in Mississippi, Fresno, Alabama, and we're going to have that discussion today. We wanted to bring Des Martinez on the show, but I was told that she's dealing with a court issue with a family that's needing some legal issues right now, trying to give folks some homes and shelter. So we thank her for her energy, what she's doing for the community here in Fresno, California. And then we have our one and only revolutionary, Sister Aline, who is my teacher, my leader. You see the shirt she have on over there. You see her shirt right there. 1966 Black Panther Party, all the way from Oakland, California. And we thank her for being on the show. And she's going to be talking about the election. And so let's get started. A lot to talk about. If you want to reach me, call me at 559-790-4277. 559-790-4277. You want to come on the show and talk about something, whatever it is, hey, we can discuss it. We're also on Blog Talk Radio.
Yes. 2
podcasts going on at one time. I mean, that's how we do it over here at Free AM here. So, hey, let's get over here to Brother TJ to find out what's on his mind right now.
Good morning, Doc. Morning, sis. I spoke with Des last night. We're talking about the sit-in that Des is hosting Sunday at City Hall at 11 o'clock. You can come earlier if you want to. We were looking to get as many people as possible to make a showing that there are people who care about the unhoused in the community. We understand that a lot of people work during the week and can't come out and show support to something during business hours where the city is, and we're hoping to have enough of a presence on the lawn to maybe get them to reconsider this atrocious ordinance that they have now postponed for about 10 days. And I understand according to Des, they're going to be hosting a press conference about it. Dr. Harris, something you said last week about this specific thing, that at the back of the council chambers they have on their wall, "In God We Trust." And it's just so hypocritical that we're in this land that was taken, ruled by folks and governed by folks who broke treaty with the people that they took it from, and now they criminalize people being in public spaces.
That's right.
I'm sure you've heard it before. You ever heard the poem, "First They Came for the Socialists"?
Yes. It's an excellent poem, y'all. If you haven't read it, please read it.
And we are in a nation whose leadership has done so poorly, taking care of their own people, and tried to be such arrogant bullies all over the planet that the whole situation is unstable. You sitting at your house realize that you're not far from being in the same situation as them should this economy go down and Uncle doesn't magic the money to you. We should be standing for them while we still have the ability to stand.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Absolutely.
You know, one of the things, just to kind of bounce off what you're talking about, still support, still involved from different angles. I was actually the first person who did a camp out, physical camp out at Fresno City Hall.
I'm down. Let's do it.
And you know, we occupied the entire front. Just from the steps, we put banners up. I had folk that came all the way from San Jose, the Bay Area, to be with us here. And that was during the first time where the city of Fresno, it was Bruce Rudd, I think it was Bubba, Mayor Audrey at the time, our homeless community at that time filed a lawsuit,
Yes.
class action
This is
lawsuit
important, y'all.
against the city of Fresno under the leadership of former Mayor Alan Autry and former city manager Bruce Rudd. And I was the only preacher in this whole city that stood with our homeless community
That's sad.
at that time to send a message out that this is wrong. There was no, the city had went out and started demolition.
Right, they were doing sweeps
Yeah.
and taking people's personal items, their medication,
Right,
their
right.
glasses,
Right.
dentures,
Right,
everything.
right, and Mike Rhodes, who, bless his heart, kept up with the documentaries
Yes.
of the raids that
Yes.
took place here in Fresno. So this is nothing new. I think what's new about this is, Brother TJ, is that the governor of California
Yes.
has took his power, executive power, to go after the poorest of the poor.
The poorest of the poor.
It's sad because in the political realm of America, they want to say they're a Christian nation.
They do.
Then at the same time, they're acting like thugs.
Right, and Brother TJ pointed out to me, Rev, that Gavin probably got the go-ahead from the Supreme Court ruling about the homeless, and we all know that the current Supreme Court is, I'm going to just say, a corrupt court. They have people on there with these life, tenures who are doing illegal stuff. But Brother TJ did point that out. It came from the Supreme Court, and then Gavin.
Right. So it did start at the Supreme Court, and then trickled down, and then the governor of California then told each city supervisor, because we even know that the board is supervised. So we're
Right.
talking about the city of Fresno,
We're talking about
but
the
we're
city.
also talking about the county of Fresno.
Yes.
Because what happens is, what we have to understand is there's pockets of the boundaries.
Yes.
Both city, county, and so the sheriff department is over the county island.
That's right.
Fresno PD is over the city.
That's
So
right.
we're dealing with boundaries here.
That's right.
And so the board of supervisors, so the sheriff department works under the board of So I'm giving some framework right now.
Yes.
For those across the
Yes.
country who may not understand the siege that we've been under here in Fresno. And so the board of supervisors voted unanimously, if I'm
That's
correct,
correct.
that they was going to put an ordinance in, and I believe the ordinance that I don't know about the county, but I know about the city, said that, we're gonna go out here and, pass this ordinance, no one can sleep on city property or on the
Right.
sidewalk, blah, blah.
That's right.
But the problem is that there's not enough housing for those, even if they wanted to get off.
And not enough
Because
shelter
I know
beds.
myself, for the past 2 months, I've been dealing with folk who need housing and home.
Yes.
And then the criteria
Mm-hmm.
that's been created, right?
Yes.
That I took people down to the welfare department myself
Wow.
in my car to advocate for men to get housing. And what I was told was, well, we only have housing for those who have children. And if they don't have no children, then they got to go deal with XYZ organization. And then you go to XYZ organization and they say, okay, well, we got to do an intake. So now you still on the street, you still houseless, you still have no resources. And it's just a sad system, broken system, that now if those don't want to comply, or, How some people, and I learned this from Brother TJ, some people want to live off the grid.
Amen.
Huh? Some people wants to live off the grid. Now, grid means I don't want to pay no PG&E.
Right.
I don't want to pay
Right.
no water bill. I don't want to pay it to
Right.
your tax system. So why is that illegal for someone who wants to be able to live off the grid? You see what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And so now matters even worse now, because now in what I'm understanding the ordinance is, they're going to arrest homeless people.
And they're going to fine them. These are people who can't afford rent, but they're going to fine them, and that's going to exacerbate their financial burden.
$1,000. They're going to fine them $1,000. Then we're going to turn around and arrest them, book them. We're talking about people who don't even have nothing. And then who's paying this bill now?
Exactly.
The taxpayers are paying this bill
That's
now,
right.
because most cities have misappropriated money and funds for housing.
In my opinion, Rev, two things are going to happen if these ordinances stand the way that they are. One is that city officials and county officials are going to force the homeless, the unhoused, to push into neighborhoods that are already straining. That's number one. Number two is that the homeless, the unhoused, are going to want to get arrested so that they can get 3 hots in a cot in jail. And we already know that the jails are overcrowded. Folks need social services. And then you have the promise by Councilman Miguel Arias that he was going to rehab these hotels and motels. What happened with that? Where's all that money going? What happened to emergency services, regardless of if you're male, female, have children or not? The only thing these ordinances are going to do is drive up crime. And the budget for City of Fresno is already 3/4 going to police now.
And that's what people don't understand, Eileen, is that now if you're going to arrest people and then they don't come to court,
Right.
they don't have an address, how are you going to send them a letter?
Exactly.
How are you going to contact them? Then if police come in contact with them on the street, then there's a warrant for your arrest.
Right.
Now we're going to arrest you. Now we're going to put you in. Now, so
There
now
it is.
we're dealing with a whole different system, financial system with the county,
That's right.
Because the city of Fresno decided to pass this ordinance. Now the county jailhouse now
That's right.
is going to have to get paid.
That's right.
Right? And now the sheriff has to get paid. So then they're gonna say, well, we at capacity. Now we need to build another jail. They just added another wing onto the jail.
Yeah.
Miguel Arias is trying to buy a jail,
Oh,
an abandoned
my.
jail in one of our satellite communities that's not in the city of Fresno for housing people in this
This
regard.
is a for-profit, for officials kind of deal, y'all.
And
Let's pay attention.
so, me being heavily involved in that first lawsuit, I think it was $2.3 million the
Yeah.
city had to pay the homeless folks who were violated. Their things were thrown away, their false teeth was thrown away, their medical cards, their IDs. Now listen. Now
And it does.
I tell everybody, don't believe
Hear
me.
this.
Don't believe nobody on this panel when we speak. You research it for yourself. You can go to
Facts.
YouTube right now and type in Fresno, California,
Or Big Sue, who
Big
died
Sue.
on the street.
and all these videos will pop up. So we as a community had to push for people to be treated with dignity and respect
That's right.
through the first class action lawsuit, which was $2.3 million. Now, who paid the bill for that lawsuit when we
Taxpayers.
had politicians that's supposed to be following the Constitution,
Right.
but you violate the Constitution of the people in Fresno, and then the people had to rise up together collectively and in partnership.
Yeah.
Just to fight the people who's supposed to be protecting us and protecting our human rights, protecting ourselves. These are the people who violate us.
So where's the humanity?
Right now.
Where's the moral and political will to change this? And I always say, big wigs, who are acting like this, they understand two things, y'all, and I'm not a violent person: money and pain. Now, money comes into this because if Miguel Arias is looking for a site for another prison, so what is he going to do? So he's going to hire people, he's going to rehab, blah, 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 blah. But then you got to fill it. And the homeless, the unhoused, are going to be fodder for that. And not just them, but all marginalized people.
Revolutionaries. So he gave a talk at a elementary school some years back. The reason that I was there is because I was listening on behalf of Nicholas in the council run. But he floated at that elementary school to the applause of the parental units who were sitting there, that he was looking at expanding mental health definitions to give the officers the authority to deal with the homeless people. And now you run into a situation where you'll get labeled schizophrenic. Me and my friend here would definitely, you two, boss, would be labeled schizophrenic because we hold a worldview contrary to the majority of our society. And just like they did Bobby Fischer, wouldn't even let him back in the country. He's looking at expanding and changing definitions. So now if you understand the truth of history, if gasp, you consider who the tribes are and who Judah might be, you might find yourself incarcerated because of your mental condition.
Exactly. And wouldn't it make more sense, everybody, my two brothers sitting here, wouldn't it make more sense to have crisis teams that work alongside law enforcement, so if nobody has to, be incarcerated, nobody has to be put in a mental institution unwillingly, because some people do want to live off the grid. But now we have this draconian law in city and county coming from corrupt SCOTUS, and this is what we get. People, you have to vote with the ballot and change this. I'm not saying Democrats are perfect, but if we don't vote, we are automatically letting somebody else decide our fate. And even if whoever we vote for doesn't get in, we as a people, that's what democracy means, e pluribus unum, from many, one. We got to do it.
This is the Black Agenda Network. We're talking about issues, concerns about what's harming people here in Fresno, California, and across the country. I just want to thank all of our folks across the nation that support this network. We have taken a list and we have written people's names that we're going to request. I thank Eileen for creating the list to invite folks on this show. We have African American folk who want to run for political office. It's important that they come and talk to us about what they want to do for black folk. Okay, now we have to understand that the city council we don't have one black person on the city council. We don't have one black person on the board of supervisors. And I believe the Fresno Unified, I think we have one. And so my point is that who's looking after black folk? Who's looking after black folks in our issue, right? Because I would truthfully say that when you're a politician, that you're supposed to be concerned about everybody. But we're dealing in a real world. You see what I'm saying? When Eileen's mother had that problem with her tree, the city planted that tree back in 1950. Her mother told the city at that time, I don't want that tree there. The city planted it anyway. Okay, now we understand, and we have enough sense to understand that the people in 1950 is probably not here today. But it's the same institution that put the tree there. So you got grandfathered into this problem.
That's right.
And so when Eileen turned around, mother received a water bill over $4,000 or $5,000 because there was a water leak under the tree. The tree had broke the water line. The roots had rubbed into the gap, and it was leaking underground. How would Eileen's mother, who was 102 years old, know that there was a water leak underground.
That's right.
Now, when we start talking about politicians who's supposed to serve the people, when there's a problem, serve the people, Aline went and did what any daughter would do, Brother TJ, to advocate for her mama, to say, hey, look, listen, this is not right. Aline reached out for 6-7 months to the city council, called Miguel Ayers' office. He turned a blind nose. Oh, you know about it. Now, this is the city council person that's still in the seat now.
For the same area, Area 3.
Now, you said, well, Reverend Harris, why are you bringing up something that happened so long ago? Because it's important that you understand that politicians work for you.
That's right.
You don't work for them. You pay their house note. They get a salary. Our city council people get almost like $10,000 a month.
Yeah, they do.
Or more, plus insurance, plus perks, plus flying all over the country, laying up in 5, 6, 10 hotels with gold stars and riding around with the best rental car and all this, and then you have a problem in your community and they don't even have time for you to even address the issue. It doesn't matter if Aline's mother voted for him or not. There's a problem in your district and you're supposed to fix it. And it took Aline to come to me and tell me, Reverend Harris, these Miguel Ayers, they're not listening to what we're saying. And Mom don't have $5,000 to pay this water bill that they caused the problem. And then, and only then, it took all of us across the nation.
Across the nation.
You called into Fresno City Hall. We mobilized here in Fresno to show you the power of the people. If you have a problem, all you got to do is mobilize across the world. Don't just mobilize in your city.
That's right.
Because see, most people in your city is bought off anyway.
All politics are local.
Most people in your city are $2 bills anyway. So you have to call people from the outside, and that's what Dr. King did.
Yes, he
did. The people that was with Dr. King came from the outside of whatever city he was in to bring support to those people. Because the people that was in the city that was having a problem was scared as hell.
They were afraid. They were afraid. And Dr. King knew he was doing the right thing. He knew that. But older generations were like, you're doing too much, you're working, outside your lane, you need to stop, you need to slow down. Same thing they said about Obama. Well, he ain't paid his dues. He shouldn't run for president. But when you're right, and the people hear that you're right, they will stand with you. When Rev did that press conference in front of my mother's house, that's when Lee Brand, the mayor, showed up. That's when his chief of staff came with him. And that is when Miguel Ayers showed up. And do you know, folks, that it took a tree removal service from Visalia, who just happened to hear about it, who came and did the initial work and did not charge my mother and I anything. But here's the good part, the ask that Reverend Harris had at the press conference, because he said for the 6 months that you all been suffering with this, then you need to get compensated for that. And so for the next 6 months, after the press conference, we didn't have to pay a water bill, and that was a great relief to my mother. Now, I didn't put the dots together about that this is elder abuse. Reverend Harris did that. I, as a daughter, tried to do the right thing, quote unquote, letters, appearances at Miguel's office. I went to the department that handles water issues. I did all of that. I did not shout. I did not get arrested for acting out. But look what it took. It took people power to move and get the right thing done.
And this is the thing. And when those politicians showed up that morning, we were there. The community was there. Do you know Miguel Ayers and Lee Brand, the mayor at the time, they wouldn't speak to me.
Wow.
They see, that's how you know when you have a true politician, is they humble themselves. It doesn't matter if they like you or not. See, get out of this like stuff. It's about respect.
Yes.
They had no respect for me. They had no respect for Ali. They had no respect for Ali, mama. who paid her dues, her husband was in the military, paid her taxes, dealt with redlining, didn't want to build her house here in West Fresno. All this injustice that her family, Eileen family, they paid their dues to be where they're at, but yet they wasn't served as United States citizens of this country, but treated like a second-class citizen. And Lee Brand, and I'll never forget, Lee Brand and Miguel Harris wouldn't even speak to me.
Wow.
Wouldn't come to me and say, you know, Mr. Harris, thank you for bringing this to our attention. Well, Miguel Harris already knew about it.
Right.
Then he wanted to lie and say Eileen never called down
That's
to
not
City Hall.
true.
I said, well, check the phone logs.
That's not
So,
true.
you know,
Yeah.
family, we here in this San Joaquin Valley, black folks only 5% of California. There's not a lot of us here. In political offices, we can't even get a dog catcher in office because we ain't got the numbers here to put. So, you know, we have to build allies and things like that, which, yeah, we do that. I do that all the time. But I know when a politician get in office and the whole city council is majority Hispanic, they ain't thinking about black people. That's why they did the name change on California, because they knew there wasn't going to be no black pushback, because we done bought all y'all off.
That's right.
Right? Then you turn around. So it's hypocrisy. And then, like Brother TJ said, look behind the city council, in God we trust.
God we trust.
But I guarantee you, if
Who's
when
God?
Dr. King's birthday comes, the same city council who's passing ordinance and legislation to mess over the poor of the poor, that's who Dr. King advocated for. Dr.
That's
King
right.
was the one who founded the Poor People's Campaign,
That's right, he
which
did.
we organized here, and
Yes,
you
we did.
remember,
I remember.
none of them politicians
None of
showed
them
up,
showed up.
and we sent them invitations, and we got pictures of their chairs empty
With
with
their
their
names on
names on the side. So they have no respect for people. It's all about their self-interest. You can walk around with your necktie on, your fancy car. You know, at the end of the day, it's about what's in your heart and what you
That's
can
right.
deliver to people.
That's right.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Brother TJ, for bringing that to us. Eileen, let's talk about
The debate and the
Debate.
presidential election. I'm not going to keep y'all long, but I do want to say that it was a bloodbath, and Kamala Harris did not get wet. Okay? I was hoping that they would talk about policy, and the weird thing is that given how erratic former President Trump's behavior is, I didn't think he would stay on message as well as he did, and that's frightening. Harris, right from the beginning, talked about building an opportunity economy. She talked about helping small businesses with a $50,000 tax deduction for new startups. And what 45 wants to do is add a sales tax on, so he wants to tax you even more. 45 says, oh, I'm not going to do a sales tax. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a tariff on China and make them pay so that you don't have to pay when it comes in. Well, folks, he had 4 years to do that when he was in office, and what he did was leave the biggest deficit in American history for incoming President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. It took them a long time to get things back on track, unemployment and all of that. But the one thing that I want to emphasize right now is that Biden and Harris are still mopping up from COVID. And I want you all to remember, during COVID, everything shut down, right? We needed masks, we weren't manufacturing a vaccine fast enough, all of that. You had people dying in record numbers. One of the first things that 45 did when he got elected was to dismantle the pandemic game plan that Obama had set up. Why? Because Obama had already gone through this with MERS and bird flu and all of that. So he had a game plan set up. All 45 had to do was execute that game plan. He did not do it. And let me just say this. He left the worst unemployment in the history of this country. And I want to say these next two things, and I'm going to hush. Project 2025, Agenda 47 is going to hurt not only black people, brown people, Asian people, it's going to hurt anybody who's marginalized. So if you are a poor white folk living in America, it's not going to help you either. And your white privilege is only going to take you so far. So I want to say this. 45 was very intentional when he got in office about placing federal judges all the way up to the Supreme Court in places of power. It was a 45 appointed judge who just let him off and pushed back his trial that's going on now till after the election. We wouldn't even be talking about him as an elected official unless he were an old white man who allegedly had money. I don't think anybody who's filed bankruptcy for 6 times needs to be run in America. I don't want him to have the codes to the nuclear bomb. I don't want him to be commander-in-chief, somebody who says that Senator McClain is a loser, you know. I mean, we're talking about veterans who laid down their life, and my father was a U.S. Navy veteran in World War II. He was on an aircraft carrier that got hit, torpedoed, and split in two. So all I'm saying is that it's the ballot or the bullet. Malcolm talked about this. Dr. King talked about this. So if we want to make things better, it's up to us to do that. And I say now what I said on C-SPAN last week, that Kamala Harris is the personification of a check that black women have written to the nation, especially to the Democratic Party. Because we have been the backbone and the spine, and now we want to cash that check and elect this sister to office. It just so happens that she is a Sora of mine, an AKA Sora, and I am proud of her. She went to a HBCU, but we're not even talking about race now. We're talking about qualifications. So think about that when you think about your school board and who you're electing. Because all politics are local. Think about your school board and the effect that it's going to have on our children and future generations. Rev?
You're right, Arlene. I mean, you know, the way the political structure is in this country, you have the president, the Congress, you have senators, you have, and it just goes down. And then, like here, we have senior people, ramblers in there, and then we have a senator on it, no, he's in there. But the interesting part about, I ran for mayor of Fresno.
Yes.
I came in third. We came in third, and a lot of people asked me. They said, "Well, why would you run?" Because you're running against Dyer, who was the ex police chief at the time, and I said, they said, "Well, you didn't have enough money like Dyer." And I said, well, for us, it wasn't about money.
No, sir. It
I
was
said,
not.
for us, it wasn't about trying to grandstand. I said, for us, it was about principle.
That's right.
And when we had our children from Freedom School walking precincts,
Yes.
to let them know that you can run for the highest seat of your city.
That's right.
And not worry about the newspapers, not worry about TV stations, not worrying about endorsements. And we thank the folks that did endorse us and that did those who gave us dollars and change and their nickels and their dimes, because it all add up. But it was the principal part of standing for the people.
That's right.
Bringing
That's right.
people issues.
And Rev, you bring up a good point, because those of you who are political nerds like myself, we know that when somebody runs for office, win or lose, okay, so Jan's lost, and what happened? Dyer offered him the city attorney position. Reverend Harris should have been contacted about being on the planning commission. or being on some of the other commissions throughout the city of Fresno. And that did not happen. Conventional wisdom said that shouldn't happen. Why? Because that's the way it's supposed to work. They can't even follow their own political rules. Can't do it.
And what we're doing, Brother TJ and Aline, is we are educating our family across the world about the experiences that we have been through here.
Yes.
Because we know that what we've been through here, other communities are going through it too.
Absolutely.
And they may not understand, well, how do you do this and how do you do that and how do you recall someone? So I didn't recall politicians, because I had a politician tell me one time, she said, well, the black community didn't put me in office.
Oh, snap.
Now, so I had to, get in my seat, and I didn't kind of hear right. And I said, what did you say? What did you, can you repeat what you just, she said, the black community didn't put me in office. But this person is black.
Yes.
And I said, Now, anybody that know me know that it would have been better for her to tell that to Moby Dick, Big Bird, Mr. Ed, Bugs Bunny, but to tell me that a grassroots civil rights leader in my community,
Yes.
that other words you saying, I don't care about black people.
Exactly.
I only care about those who have special interests and funded my campaign, because
That's
none of
it.
you black people didn't even give me a penny. You couldn't even afford to give me a penny.
See?
So my loyalty is going to be to those who signed the check.
That's right.
And so
Come on.
my response was, I said, well, okay, that's how you feel. I said, I want you to know in the next week, I will pull recall papers out. I told her to her face. I told, cause see, family, some of you out there, respectfully, I either need to make a peel or something where folks can grow backbone, because we have too many scary people in the community. And as Aline said, as Malcolm X said, it's the ballot or the bullet. If we cannot control that ballot, then we're going to take the bullet.
That's right.
And even though black people here, only 5% of California, you go to Georgia, you go to New York, you go to Philadelphia, our people are highly populated in those areas.
Chicago.
They still dealing with institutionalized systemic racism.
Still.
But they have more numbers.
Yes.
Now the squeaky wheel gets the grease. That's why Aline's mother received justice, right? I don't deserve no credit for that. The credit goes to the community, to the nation, because without you calling in the city hall, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
I'm just a servant. That's all I am.
Servant leadership is very important, y'all.
I could be here today and gone tomorrow, but we have to dissect, we have to be able to connect across the world is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Quit fighting your issues in your community. Yes, you have to mobilize your community, but get outside help
That's right.
to come in to help solve your problems.
Choose your
and
allies
issues.
well. Choose your
Okay.
allies well.
And so, Alan, we thank you for talking about that debate and
Gotta talk about
all
it.
of that. And we're, like I said, we're gearing up with this show, because we come in lock and loaded. Listen, we ain't shooting no blanks. We not shooting no blanks. And we not new to it, we true to it. You
Gotta
know?
be.
And we thank Brother TJ for talking about what's going on with our homeless community. They're
Yes.
part of our community too.
Absolutely.
We can't forget about that. Let me tell y'all this, we're going to end the show. So I gotta get ready to get the food distribution. I gotta get the music out because we're gonna play some music today. Ashley Swearingen, when she was in office, she said, we're having the same problem we're having now. I said, well, wait a minute, Mayor, Ashley, why don't, we were trying to set up legal encampments where they could police themselves.
Exactly.
See, they call it illegal encampment. We said we want to set up a legal.
Right.
And I said, I can do that at my church. You know what she told me? That mayor looked me in my eyeballs and she said, if you even think about setting up an encampment at your church, she said, I will have code enforcement to shut you down.
I'm gonna go get my tent.
Oh.
And now, there was a bunch of preachers and everybody in the room, and I'm looking and I'm like, And I looked at all the other preachers. I thought maybe they were going to say something. They all put their head down.
Wow.
I said, but let me tell you something what's going to happen to Fresno. I said, God is going to break Fresno politicians down to their knees. I said, because see, you're messing with God's people.
Yes.
You know, and as soon as January come around, you're going to see the city of Fresno promoting Dr. King. I have a dream, but yet your dream is to destroy the poorest of the poor.
That's right.
How can you celebrate Dr. King when you passing legislation that you knew if he was here today that he will be standing with us?
That's right.
He will be at this table with us. Saying, no, you can't do that to poor people.
That's right.
No, you got to find something else. Ain't no throwing them in jail. But yet we allow them to take Dr. King's legacy and play with it.
Whitewash. Hijack.
Play with it. And the morals of Dr. King. See, this is nothing but hypocrisy, and I call it out what it is. And if anybody want to debate me on it, bring it on. Because the truth is the truth. The Bible says the truth shall set you free.
That's right.
And how in the world can you put "In God We Trust" on back of the Fresno City Council check? In God we trust. And the same Bible that you bring in to City Hall to start the council off in prayer.
Right. That's right.
All right, y'all. This is Dr. Harris. We're here with the Black Agenda Network. We're connecting the dots. We'll be here next week. I'm happy to say that the gentleman that's sitting in the middle here,
This brother.
this brother here, he's going to be launching his new show pretty soon. His new show. And we're going to be supporting his show. He's going to be bringing on different people on his show to talk about different topics and things like that. Aline has also highlighted different people that we're going to ask to come on the show. And like I said, we're keeping it real. We're keeping it 100. I will be making a Facebook with all of our shows and a website because we want you to make sure that if you won't have time to watch it like now, it's archived and you can go back and listen to it to a later date. And so we do interview people across the country, across the world. We have that technology to do that. And so we just want to say thank you. Thank you for all that you do. Keep praying for us here in Fresno because we're under siege. Black people are underrepresented. We're trying to keep hope alive here and trying to love on our babies and all of our people and see how we can work together as one. There's too much racism. There's too much institutionalized racism here in America and here in Mississippi, Fresno, Alabama. And so I renamed my city, and I would like anyone to challenge me on that name. And maybe we should start what do they call that? I can't think.
I want to say support group because we are being bombarded, y'all.
Yeah, the charter. That's the word I'm looking for. Maybe we need to put it to the voters and rename our city to Mississippi, Alabama. All right, y'all. We thank y'all. We love y'all. We gotta go, and I gotta get to my next job, DJ.
All right.
Sunday, homeless in Fresno, City Hall. Saturday out here, we have a fundraiser, car wash. Come get a plate. Come shop the yard sale.
Come on, y'all. And please, please, please stay black till we get back with you.